because they're human. You know, my son wrote a poem about how it feels to be caged. And now, every time I go to the zoo, I think about that poem. He says, if you look at the animals and you look at the condors, you know, he says, don't you think that they wish that they could fly? But they can't because they're in captivity. They're there for us to go look at and enjoy. But he says, think about the animals. How do they feel having people walk by throwing peanuts at them? He said, Mama, that's how it feels to be caged. You know, think of the animals in the zoo. So when you think about that, you think about the fact that you don't want to hurt that person. You don't want to hurt them with that. Because I'm going to tell you, whatever you do out here, trust me, somebody is looking to be able to send a letter and tell what you're doing. You know? So when he hears, your wife was in Bible study. Your wife was in church. Your wife was doing this in the community. Your wife and your children were over here doing that. They were volunteering. Your wife has taken a course. You know? Trust me, they won't tell the good stuff. They'll only look. I saw your wife at the club the other night. Man, she was looking good. Man, you know, people love to pass along negative stuff. And I'm telling you, I live way in Sacramento, and my son can tell me who I'm dating. I'm serious. He can tell me who I'm dating. He can tell me when I change my hair color. He can, they tell him, I mean, and I'm serious. I'm like, how'd you know that? Oh, Mom, I got eyes. You in Carolina, I'm in California. Oh, but Mama, I got eyes. Okay. So I'm very careful in what I do because I don't want anything to get out negative to get back to my son. I don't want him worrying about me. You know, I'm all right. You know, I'm all right. And that's what they want to hear, that you're all right. But again, it's the things that we don't say. When you go to see him, yeah, you love him and you hug him and kiss him, but sometimes you want to tell him what's really going on and it's bothering you. Let me tell you something. Don't carry that weight. Don't do that. If it's bothering you, he's your husband. Communication is the key. You got to tell him. You got to tell him. You got to talk through it. You know? Take the Bible with you sometime. See, I'm not trying to convert you, but I'm just trying to show you what God is doing for me in my life and helping me to be able to support you. Now, I need you to understand that when you come out, there are certain things that will be different. Our family is going to be Christ-centered. We're not going to backpedal. We're going to go forward. You know, because I'm going to tell you, I truly, and I'm so glad that we're in a place that we're at right now. I could not have done these 11 years. I could not have done it without the love of God. I could not have. There were times when I thought I would lose my mind. You know, my baby. You know, my baby. Then you start thinking, what could I have done different? What could I have done to stop him? And the little guilt thing comes in. You know? And then you tell yourself, but you know what? I did the best that I could. I raised a heck of a man. I did that. You know? And that's what I was supposed to do. So I have nothing to be guilty for. But I'm going to tell you, people watched how I was supporting my son. Sometimes I didn't know how I was going to get to North Carolina and a ticket would come. Sometimes I didn't know when I got there where I'd stay. It's just like I would go and God would meet me there. This journey has been fantastic. I would take nothing for it. That's why I'm able to stand up here and tell you these things, because I've experienced it. It's my son who's close to me. It's your husbands, you know? It's your husbands. Same thing, they're close to you. We love them. We want the best for them. Right or wrong or indifferent, we're attached to them, you know? And don't sit back and let anybody belittle them. You know what? Remove yourself from the negativity. When they start to, oh, time to go. Oh, I heard you, oh. Time to go. My husband, he's in training. My husband's in training. If you want to know how he's doing, you can write him a letter. And gotta go. Remember those 3 words. Gotta go. And say, how you doing it? I'm doing it by the grace of God. How you holding up? I'm holding up by the grace of God. What's God in her? People are going to be watching you. You got to be ready for it. That's why you have to have a faith. Faith is the only thing that's going to bring you through this. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to make you stronger. Celibacy is going to make you wiser, because you'll be open to hear your children. You'll be open to hear yourself speaking. When things are bothering you and you can't talk to nobody else, you got your support sisters. You can talk to them. Sometimes when you can't reach them, you know who to go to. Say telephone, telegraph, tell God. If you don't want to hear it again, tell God all about it. But you got to get it out. You got to get it out. And you got to trust and believe that God has your back. I'm telling you, sometimes when the food gets low, and you're being honest and you're serving and supporting your husband, food gets low, food is going to appear out of nowhere. You need a way to get someplace and you don't know how you're going to get there because you sent this money and money's funny. Somebody or something is going to come along and bless you. Do these things because it's what you're supposed to do. Don't do it and one day look at your husband and say, but I did this for you. I gave up that for you. I could have been married to so-and-so, but I married you. Oh, my family told me about you. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Speak that to the wind. Don't do it. Because if you tell a friend and she get mad, she going to tell him what you said anyway. If she going to tell somebody, it's going to get back to him. You know? So be careful with your words. Always when you're talking to him, let your words be empowering. Let your words be encouraging. You know? Give from your heart. Don't give because you're expecting him to say, ooh, I love you so much. Ooh, I couldn't have done it without you. If you're waiting on that, it may not ever come. Then you look at him and say, why did I do it? You did it because you took those vows and it's right. It's right. So that's what I'm here tonight to encourage you about. You know, remember the kids. Your kids are going to wonder at Christmas time, Thanksgiving, them holidays come around, and they're going to miss Daddy. But you know what? As much as you can, take them to see their father. Have them write letters to their fathers. Have them make a picture and send it to him. You know, keep him a part of the family. You have to talk about him. Say, you know, if your dad was here, he'd really like that. You know, when Dad gets home, we're going to do this. So, when Dad, give him some hopes. You know, when Dad gets home. You know, he's not here. Where's Daddy? In training. Friend said Dad's in jail. Okay, now let's sit down and have a conversation about that. Let me explain that to you. Because if you've got boys, it's an excellent learning opportunity. Excellent. And if you've got girls, they're going to role model what they see you doing and how you are taking care of your husband, how you're supporting your husband. What you do in front of your children, you're role modeling. You're role modeling. So you need to speak positive about him. Sometimes when you say, oh, if he hadn't have done that, maybe things would be easier. Don't let the kids hear you say it. You'll hear it again. Always encourage them to love their fathers, be a part of his life. Always send pictures of them. You know, keep him apart. Don't keep secrets from him. If the child gets suspended, tell him. Child starts acting up, tell him. Write him a letter. I need you to write a letter to let them know how you felt about that. Have a little box in every letter that Dad sends. Keep the letters. So every time, do you remember that letter? Read it. Dad can give them lessons that we can't, especially the boys. Especially the boys. They have to know. You know, when you start seeing them veering off the path, got to talk to Dad about this. Why do you want to talk to him about it? Because he's your father. He's your father. He may not be here, but he's still your father. Include them. That's so important. And I'm telling you, what you're going to do is you're going to empower your children to look at things, make their own decisions about how they feel about it, you know. But at least give them the information so they can make an educated decision. Do I want to go see Dad this weekend? No, last time I went, I was in trouble. Okay, so don't force them to go. You know, don't force them to go. Because they'll just make your trip miserable. You know, they should want to go. They should be eager to go. Each time they go, he shouldn't always have something for them, a present or something like that, because that's setting up unrealistic expectations. Sometimes just let him read a book to them. Sometimes just let him talk. Let him hug. You know? A lot of people say, oh, I feel guilty because I'm not there with my kids, so I need to do this and I need to do that. So don't set up unrealistic expectations for them. There'll be times when you can't do it, and then they'll be disappointed. You know, when you can do it, it would be more appreciated, and they'll be surprised. So, any questions, ladies? What's the hardest part for you? Come on.
Well, I know for me, it's because our youngest daughter is disabled, so in